Hi guys, okay, so this video is going to be all about my labor and delivery. I know this video is highly requested. Everyone seems to be asking me for it. I'm just going to finally make it. So I'm just going to get right into it. So on September 26th, I went to my 38-week appointment. I didn't expect anything to happen. I thought it was just going to be a regular appointment because nothing has been happening. You know, my other appointments, I didn't think I'd be dilated or nothing. I just thought it was a normal appointment, just gonna go in, get checked, and go right home. I didn't have my hospital bag with me, I didn't have her diaper bag, I didn't have the car seat, I didn't have anything. I didn't even have my hospital bag packed yet, just because I thought, you know, I'm probably gonna go to 40 weeks. I was actually planning on packing my hospital bag that night when I got home from my appointment. I was not prepared for anything really to happen, which I should have been because I was already 38 weeks and you never know when something could happen. So I went to my appointment. I go in there and the nurse takes my blood pressure and she said it was high. And I didn't really think anything of it. I'm like, alright, well, I didn't think it was really that high. But she was going on saying that it's really high, and I don't remember exactly what it was, so I'm sorry for that. But then I was just like, okay, so what does that mean? And she's like, well, you could be getting induced today. And I'm like, no, like I didn't think that would even happen. Because I always thought my doctor was like, you know, not really for inducing. I wasn't really like thinking I was going to need to get induced that day. But when she said that, I just looked over at my boyfriend. I was like, like, oh my god, really? So my doctor came in and she checked my blood pressure again. She's making noises. Except I was laying down because just to see if that would help. And my blood pressure didn't go down at all. So she started talking to me about my weight gain and my blood pressure and how it's been going up and up each appointment, and how my weight gain is all of a sudden just going crazy, kind of. And she said that it's a sign of preeclampsia. So that kind of freaked me out because I do know preeclampsia can be very harmful, you know, to babies and to yourself. So then she got into saying that I'm going to be induced that day. I was so shocked. Like, you guys don't even know. Like, I was not expecting it at all. My response was, wait, like, today? I was really, really shocked, and so was my boyfriend. I just looked over at him, and I'm just like, oh my god. And he's like, oh my god. And he even said, like, so, like, today, like... And she's like, yep, today. My clinic is connected to the hospital, so she just had me go right over to the hospital side and check in and get admitted. She said everything will be waiting for me there. So I go there and they bring me up to my room. About 10 minutes after I'm in my room, my boyfriend leaves and goes and packs my hospital bag and grabs the car seat and the diaper bag and everything else that we need. He didn't get back for like about an hour later because we do live about 25 minutes away, and then he has to, you know, get everything ready. So he came back in about an hour, and I have everything written down on my phone, so I'm probably just going to be looking at it, you know, to reference from it because this was 3 months ago. So I was admitted to the hospital at 3:30 is when I got into my room and everything. And then around 4 o'clock they started my IV fluids just for hydration. And they also, you know, took my blood because I was anemic, so they just had to check it to make sure everything was okay. And just because they check it, you know, regardless, even though when you're in labor they do take your blood. And around 4:15 they started off my first dose of Cyotec. And this is like a capsule that dissolves, obviously, and they put it all the way up into your cervix, and it's supposed to soften your cervix and can jumpstart labor and, you know, get you dilating. Most of the time it doesn't, but it can for some people. For me, not really. It really didn't do much. But so after that, they had me, you know, walk around the halls and everything. I only did that for about 30 minutes. I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't feel like doing it. I probably should have done it more, but I just didn't. So I just went back in the room about maybe 35 minutes later, and I just went, you know, like, just sat, like, laid down and watched some TV and just hung out with my boyfriend because he was back, you know, by this time. Around 5 o'clock is when contractions started. They were mild, they didn't hurt, but I did feel them and they were there. They were mostly in my lower back, and this was pretty much throughout my whole labor. I was having back labor, which I think is one of the most painful labors, but that is what I was having. So it was a lot in my lower back. I mean, it did reach around to the front, but most of it was, you know, in the lower back. And then later, around 7:15 to 7:30, I got my second dose of Zyotech. At this time, I was 1 centimeter, which is what I was at my 38-week appointment, if I didn't say that. So nothing changed. I tried taking a hot bath because I know that can sometimes help, and also because my contractions were getting kind of more painful. So I took hot bath. Really didn't do much. I'm just looking at the camera. It really didn't do much, so I got out of it. If anything, it kind of made me feel nauseous, so that really didn't help me either. Around 11:40 p.m. I got my 3rd dose of Zyotech. And at this time I was about 1.5 centimeters dilated. So I dilated a 1/2 centimeter in 3 hours, which is not much at all. I was really disappointed every time that she would come in and I wouldn't really be progressing. It was kind of like discouraging, but you know, I just kept going. In the beginning, right away, my doctor did say that it was going to be a long process. My body just isn't ready to have her, so it's going to take a lot for me to actually have her, and that she did think it would end up in a C-section because it would just take too long. So this whole time I was preparing myself for the C-section because it was a major possibility. But I was like 1.5 centimeters, but I was also thinned more, and they could finally feel her head, like really feel her head, you know? So that was good. Around 2:45-ish in the morning, they came in and they gave me my 4th dose of Zyotech. And at this time I was 75% thinned and almost 2 centimeters, so another 3 hours and I was another 1/2 centimeter dilated, which isn't much, but I was happy, you know, because something was happening at least. Around 3:10 a.m. is when my contractions got bad. Even though I was only like 2 centimeters dilated, they hurt really bad, and I think that's because of the back labor probably. But, you know, they were getting more closer together and more painful. My contractions were never regular. They were very, very, very irregular. They were like just overlapping all the time, or it would be like a contraction for 3 minutes and then not have one for 2 minutes and then have one for 1 minute and then a minute later have one for 2 minutes. It was just all over the place, and it was stressful because I wanted, you know, to be like, okay, I have like about a minute or 5 minutes and, you know, to relax, but no, they would just come whenever they wanted. What? Do you want this? It's getting scrammy. Then around 5:45, I got my 5th dose of Zyotech, and that was my last dose of it. At this time, I was 75% thinned and only 2 centimeters. And only 2 centimeters, so nothing has changed. At this point, I was frustrated and mad almost. I wasn't mad, but I was just frustrated and upset because nothing was happening. But I just kept going. Contractions were bad. At this point, they were bad. Like, I had to hold on to the rail of the bed and just, like, you know, breathe through my contractions. I think I did very well, though, with my breathing. That helped so much. So I'm glad that, you know, I was able to actually do that. Around 6 in the morning, I was still having contractions, but for some reason they didn't hurt as much. And, I mean, I was happy, but I was also, you know, like, okay, why aren't they hurting? I thought, you know, I'm not progressing at all, and, like, I'm probably going to have to get the C-section. So I was kind of upset. Around 7:30, 8 o'clock-ish in the morning, my doctor came in, and she checked me, and I was 2 centimeters and 75% thinned. Nothing changed. She also, right after that, she broke my water. And she's like, okay, let's hope something happens now. Break your water, it really doesn't hurt at all. They just put like this like long metal rod almost in you, and they just pop your water, and it just comes out like gushing. It's like warm and weird. It's really a weird feeling, but it doesn't hurt at all. At 9:30, I was almost 3 centimeters dilated, and they were going to start my Pitocin then. And my contractions started getting very, very bad. And that was before my Pitocin. And like right after my Pitocin, my contractions got so bad. Very, very bad. I go and put Elena with my boyfriend because she was getting really fussy, and I just want to finish this video up. So after my Pitocin, I told my nurse, I'm like, can I get something through, like, for pain through my IV? Because they did say the epidural would take a while. So I asked her for that, and they brought that in. But right as they were bringing that in, my epidural came. So I was very, very happy. The epidural came around 9:45. They just had me bend, like, you know, lean over a pillow. I had to be very still. Right away, the doctor was like, wow, you were very swollen. They couldn't even feel my spine. And it was kind of like, okay, am I gonna still be able to get the epidural? I was very scared, but the epidural experience was not good for me. It was bad. I'm just gonna say that right off the bat, like the epidural was bad for me. It took about 2 hours and about 3 doctors to get the epidural in and in right and not hitting my nerves. I could feel the epidural going into my spine, and I could feel them hitting all my nerves, and every time they would hit a nerve, I would jump, and that would freak me out because I know if you move, you know, it's just like you get paralyzed, something could happen. So I was, you know, really like scared about all that. But finally, they got the epidural in, and for about 10 minutes, I felt good. I felt, you know, a lot better. But then after 10 minutes, my contractions just started hitting me again. Very, very hard. Very, like, so much worse than they were. I didn't know why because I got the epidural. I was really freaked out because I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to be able to feel everything when I, you know, push her out and everything. And I was really, really scared. But I just kept calm. I told my doctor, and she's like, yeah, that's normal. Which I knew it was not normal. Like, I knew it wasn't normal. But at around 12, they came and checked me, and I was at 8 centimeters. So I dilated quite a bit, and I was at 8. And I could still feel my contractions, and it was still horrible. And then a little bit later, like about 20 minutes later, I kept feeling like I had to poop, like really, really bad. Like I felt like there was like a bowling ball trying to come out. I didn't want to tell my doctor because I just wanted a little bit of a break. But my mom just went out and told my doctor for me. And she came in at around, it was like 12:45, and she checked me, and I was 9.5 centimeters. And then right before I knew it, you know, it was time to push. So they put me in the stirrups and everything, and they had me do my practice pushes a couple times, and then they start having me push for real. And I started pushing for real at about 1 o'clock. It was just so much pressure, like unbelievable amount of pressure. I just kept pushing and pushing, and like I said, my contractions were irregular, and you push when you have a contraction. So I would push, and then my contraction wouldn't come back for 3 minutes, so then she would kind of like go back up. And so I'd keep going and going, and I pushed for 2 hours, and it was hard. And then my last 3 pushes, I had to push without a contraction, and that was very, very difficult. But I did it. Finally, I was so happy. I was, you know, I was scared and everything, and I could feel the entire thing of her coming out. And at 3:03 p.m., Elena Lynn was born. She came out, and she was so beautiful. They put her right on my chest, and I was just like in awe. Like, I'm like, oh my god, thank you so much to all the nurses and the doctors. I was crying. Was like, oh my god, she's so beautiful, my baby. And I just like looked at Hunter. I'm like, she's here, our baby is here. It was just like unbelievable, like seeing her come out and everything, and then like being able to hold her. It was like really beautiful, and it's something that every woman should go through, because it's just like the most amazing experience. I loved labor. I loved delivery. I loved it all. It was all like perfect, and I will never ever forget it. She was 7 pounds and 4 ounces and 21 inches long. And she had a full head of hair, and it was brown, and her eyes were dark blue. She was so alert right when she came out, and she was hungry. She kept sticking out her tongue. So they washed her up, and they gave her back to me, and she latched on right away. And it was just so beautiful and perfect. I cried, just kept crying, and I couldn't take my eyes off of her because she was just so perfect. It was probably like the best day of my life, by far the best day. I didn't think I was going to get emotional, but I am. It was just like, I couldn't believe it, you know, like she's finally here. I wish I could go back and just do it all over again. Like, I would definitely do it all over again just to like have that feeling again of seeing your daughter or your son for the first time. It's just, anyone who is pregnant right now and watching this, like, you have no idea like how amazing you're going to feel. Like, I'm excited for you. Like, you don't even understand the feeling until you experience it. But after that, my doctor, took my, like, the placenta, the afterbirth and everything, and that was painful. I think that was more painful than actually giving birth. But she did that and it was fine. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I was walking around an hour later. If you are wondering why my epidural didn't work, it was because, if you remember me saying, my nurse brought in medicine that could be given through my IV. The anesthesiologist grabbed the wrong one because they were sitting right next to each other. The anesthesiologist grabbed the one for my IV that was just take the edge off instead of the real epidural. So they gave me the wrong medicine, and I didn't even have the epidural at all. I went through all that for no reason. But I don't even care anymore because, I have a healthy baby, and I did it on my own. I did it without an epidural. Yes, I did get some pain medicine, but it lasted 10 minutes, about 10-15 minutes tops. And after that, I felt everything. So I'm really proud of myself. I'm so happy with my next baby. I'm going all natural. And I already want another baby. But, I'm going to wait because I'm only 19, so whatever. But yes, that's pretty much it for my labor and delivery. If you guys have any questions or anything, just feel free to comment below or at any of the links that I have listed below also. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!